Hello, my loves. So, in the process of researching a bit about calendars and timekeeping, because I figured if we're going to really understand the tree calendar and therefore the Ogham, we've really got to understand where it came from. And in the process of doing that, oh my goodness, I went way back. And I thought, it is actually kind of relevant. So I figured I'd do the next couple of videos on the research of calendars and timekeeping. So we're looking mostly at Britain here and how things came about in Britain, the tree calendar, the Celtic tree calendar, So looking at pre-Roman timekeeping, it was predominantly things like sundials, candles, where you would sort of mark out the days and the hours through candles, etc. Mostly they followed the harvest year in terms of their annual timekeeping, and the lunar calendar, of course, pretty much throughout the world, the moon and the moon phases have been followed because it is a regular thing. And then in a lot of countries, they would then follow the solar phases as well. Now, this is purely my own speculation, but I sort of think here in Northern Europe or in the colder parts of Europe and the world, it would be more watching the moon as opposed to watching the sun, because the sun would be blocked for part of the year, of course. So I think it's interesting to bear that in mind when we start looking and putting the pieces together, and then looking at the future, of course, which is what I'm all about. So lunar calendars, the earliest ones date back to 32,000 BC or BCE, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. And lunar calendars follow a synodic month, which is a 29.53 days in how we calculate days now. They followed a metonic cycle, which is a 19-year period. So it's sort of 19 years and then the next 19 years are the same, as opposed to at the moment we follow the 12-monthly cycle. So every 19 years, the moon and the solar phases came together. So, and that was discovered by an Athenian astronomer named Meton in 432 BC. So, showing a little bit of that with you. So the lunar study used to predict regular cycles, for example, the flooding of the Nile, religious festivals, and counting days. So a Scottish lunisolar calendar, one of the earliest found in Britain, was found in Scotland, which dated from 8000 BC. Now, the month, where does the month start? Now, that does vary from place to place. There's no definitive answer to that. So it would either be the new moon or the full moon would be where the month started. Of course, now we mostly follow or celebrate at the full moon. Pre-Roman calendars were more as sort of blocks rather than dates as we think of them now. So it's sort of split into the dark half of the year and the light half of the year, or winter and summer. One of the observations that I found from Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars that he wrote, which I think I'm probably going to read myself at some point, so it's interesting. He saw the Gaulish Celts, which of course would be more the French, ancient French, kept records of birthdays and the beginnings of months and years in the order of day following night. So at sundown would be the start of the day. Like right now, the sun's going down. So we're coming into that new day, so well, that was quite interesting actually, because, I always thought that it would start with sun up, the day begins at sun up, but thinking of the day beginning at sundown would mean that the first part of your day would be resting, right? So that's kind of a nice idea, isn't it? So I sort of thought maybe that might be something to apply in a mental health perspective, you know what I mean? Where, you sort of, you're going to bed at night and you're like, good night, my dear, but also good day to you. Starting the day with a good rest. I don't know, mentally, that might make things feel a bit better. I think I might try it anyway. So they would have their old words that have gone out of use, like fortnight. We still use that now. So that would be 2 weeks, and so you got in there night. And then an old word that's gone out of fashion is the se'nnight, which is 1 week. And again, you've got in there night. So that explains why you say fortnight and not 4 day. Cool, right? So anyway, so that's sort of looking at the pre-Roman calendars, and yes, here we go. So some Gallic terms here, which I'm quite blatantly going to pronounce wrong. So as I said, the days began at sunset, and the year began at the arrival of darkness, known as Calan Gaef, Calan, Gaef spelt Gaeaf, or Samhain. Of course, that we know about. So essentially, it would have been the 1st of November. So it would have been after the darkness, you know. And then the light year would begin at Beltane, also known as Calan or Calan Haf. Again, Calan, and Haf, Haf. So this would explain why festivals are celebrated at starting at sundown. So begin in the evening. Or the evening before. So I found again some more terms here, like Iche, Shamna, which is, I know it's probably pronounced wrong, Oiche, and Shamna or Shabna, Shamhna, with the old Gallic term, so for Samhain Eve. So I thought, interesting, right? So I'm going to finish off this, and then I'm going to do a very short video on the colony calendar. So I thought let's look at the Ogham versus the Celtic calendar, just to finish off this video, since we are focusing on the Ogham or the Ogham. So the Ogham or the Ogham, it originated in Ireland and the UK, and the Celtic calendar originated from the colony calendar. So the Ogham or the Ogham dates around the 5th to 7th CE or AD, which I'm going to feel most comfortable with, and the Celtic calendar originates in the 2nd century at CE or AD, and it was a broken tablet, which I'm going to add a picture of in my next video, but it is on Wikipedia, which is where I find a lot of my info from, because you know, it's pretty cool. They both arose during the Roman rule throughout the world, although the Ogham is Gaelic, based with more of an accurate name. It's Gaelic based, sorry, and it's more accurate name. If I remember correctly, I'm going to have to go back. I believe it's the first. I think I've already gone over this anyway. Beastness, something, and I can't even remember. Beast Lewis Noon. That's it. Beast Lewis Noon. I'm just reading out my notes here, really. So the colony calendar, we're going to go into detail a bit in the next video, but there's no clear-cut history. So just to end this video, the idea of the Celtic calendar being connected to trees is something that certainly arose much later, and we'll get onto that in the video after the colony video, when we look at the origin of the tree calendar as opposed to the Celtic calendar. So I think that as we go forward to look at the future of the Ogham and the tree calendar, I think you know, applying your own practice and your own thoughts and opinions would fit fit a lot better, because it's already been kind of I don't want to say messed with or made up, but it has been. It was certainly post-Christian or post-Roman rule that the idea of a tree calendar came about. Now, the trees were always held sacred. That was observed by the Romans, and really much of what we've got left is the observations by the Romans during their conquest of Britain, because we didn't really have a writing system before that. It was all word of mouth. So, you know, so the idea of the Ogham or the Celtic tree calendar being ancient, you know, is actually untrue. It's actually post-Christian, and it would seem it is a evolution of the colony calendar, which was a combination or sort of transition from the lunar calendar that was used for, obviously, as we know now, thousands of years before, to the solar calendar adopted by most of Britain through the Roman rule. So next video, we'll go into a little bit more detail on said calendar. So I'll speak to you in a bit.